Back on January 1st, New Year's of this year, the top 10 events that proved the Obama administration was already planning gun control long before the Newtown tragedy and just simply exploited it with all the dead children and used it to move forward the agenda they've been stealthily planning for years and years and years. Feinstein herself was admittedly working on her assault weapons ban legislation on the days leading up to the election, and it had nothing to do specifically with Adam Lanza or how he got his weapons or what allegedly happened there. It had to do with them waiting for any kind of tragedy to happen and just using the propaganda on the backs of it, making people feel guilty for those deaths and trying to take away everyone's rights. Signing off for Infowars.com, I'm Aaron Dykes, and I want to remind you that at Infowars.com/newsletter, you can sign up for free for our electronic newsletter and also get a free subscription to the electronic version of the very popular Infowars magazines.
Now, when we see Republicans and Democrats working together to betray their base, Republicans on gun control, Obama on civil liberties, you got to wonder why Americans are suspicious about their government. Well, we've got 30% of Americans are the only ones who trust government. 70% don't. And you have to ask yourself, what's wrong with those other 30%? As it says in Washington's blog article, people see that we have socialism for the rich, but we have cutthroat sink-or-swim capitalism for everyone else. They see that we have a malignant synergism between D.C. politicians and giant companies, and at the same time the government spies on virtually all Americans and has threatened to assassinate or indefinitely detain American citizens on U.S. soil. Again, going back to the NDAA, don't forget we have that interview coming up. But also, some of us are seeing some other things too, like massive ammunition purchases or tanks and drones being bought. We see the militarization of the police. And we even see DARPA working on these massive research projects, one after the other, to create some kind of a robot army. And so we all kind of have a sinking feeling about where that's all leading. And the question is, what's the matter with those 30% of the people that they trust the government? And it's not just the federal government, it's at local level as well. We have a New Jersey woman who was arrested for reciting the Constitution at a tax meeting. Now, the interesting thing is that they have a private company that is doing the tax appraisals for this particular county. And residents have complained that the assessment program violates the Fourth Amendment because in order to make reevaluation assessments and determine the tax value of a property, company inspectors must enter the home and inspect them. If not allowed to do so, that company often assesses higher values on homes, leading to increased taxes. So basically, this woman went down and complained about the fact that she would have to have her house searched without a warrant. And as part of the complaint, she read from the Constitution, presumably the Fourth Amendment. And they got very upset with her, arrested her, and demanded, as a condition of getting a reasonable bond, that she hand over her handguns. And she questioned as to how they knew that she had these handguns. She had legally purchased them, but it was never mentioned at the meeting that she had guns. So that's also another troubling aspect of that. Now, Melissa Melton has done a special report on a new, unusual practice, something called webcam abortions. And Planned Parenthood, in her article, she says Planned Parenthood is suing to perform webcam abortions. After Wisconsin amended a law last year to ban the practice of webcam abortions, Planned Parenthood sued the state and federal court and lost. Now the organization has refiled that suit in another bid to overturn the law. Now, she's done a special report. Let's let Melissa Melton tell you exactly what this new thing called a webcam abortion is.
I'm Melissa Melton reporting for Infowars Nightly News. Planned Parenthood is currently fighting the state of Wisconsin in court to reinstate its ability to perform webcam abortions.
In more than 60 Iowa counties, you won't find one obstetrician or gynecologist, and certainly no one performing abortions. That's a problem for Planned Parenthood. and a major reason it's investing in telemed abortions.
During this procedure, which Planned Parenthood refers to as a telehealth procedure instead of what it really is, a woman consults with a doctor over the internet in place of an in-person physical exam. Once the conditions are met, the doctor simply presses a button and a drawer pops open in the room, allowing the woman access to abortion pills such as RU486.
What's wrong? Nothing really. Take 4 red capsules. In 10 minutes, take 2 more. Help is on the way.
A drug pushed through the FDA approval process under the Clinton administration using foreign data and with the help of the Rockefeller Foundation's Population Council. RU486, otherwise known as Mifeprex, kills the fetus, while a second prostaglandin expels the dead child. Wisconsin has already passed a law joining Arizona, Nebraska, Kansas, and South Dakota in banning the practice. 5 other states, including Missouri, Mississippi, Iowa, Alabama, and Indiana, are also in the process of passing bills that would require a doctor to physically be present in the room to examine patients before prescribing abortion-inducing drugs. Not only does this process further dehumanize an already dehumanizing procedure, but it would leave the women without any access to the abortionist should she have complications. Abortions via pill are touted as a natural alternative to surgical abortion, like inducing a miscarriage. But in fact, RU486 complications were detailed by the FDA in a 2011 report showing that over 2,200 adverse reactions had been reported, including over 600 hospitalizations, 339 women requiring blood transfusions, 256 infections with 48 severe infections, and 14 women have even died in the U.S. since 2000. In fact, on the FDA medication guide, between 5 and 8% of women who take RU486 will still require a surgical procedure to end the pregnancy or stop too much bleeding. Just listen to one young woman detail her incredibly painful account of trying to end her pregnancy using RU486 at 6 weeks. Hours later, I writhed in my twin bed, suffering from debilitating convulsing cramps. The pain made me scream in torturous wails. I writhed, twisted, and contorted my body, praying that either I would die or the pain would stop. I called the emergency number they gave me and told them the painkillers were not working. They said very callously that there was nothing more they could do for me, informing me that this is normal and to just wait it out. Weeks later, the girl ended up in the ER where she was given 2 pints of blood, a D&C, and told if she had not arrived, she would have died. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, was pro-eugenics and wrote extensively on the fact that she felt the genetic makeup of the poor and minorities was inferior. One of her greatest influences, eugenicist Dr. Havelock Ellis, with whom she reportedly had an affair that ended her marriage, urged mandatory sterilization of the poor as a prerequisite to receiving any public aid.
Even if you're for abortion, you need to understand that it was created by eugenicists who wanted to kill black people. That is modern abortion, Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger. They said, how do we kill these black weeds? You can read her quotes, it's on record, look it up. And they said, we hire liberal blacks, we get them to be our front people, we sell it as women's rights. That's how we'll reduce the population. Hitler was for abortion. I just want you to know where the modern movement comes from.
Even today, Planned Parenthoods are typically located in disproportionately high minority and poor neighborhoods. So it should be no surprise these webcam abortions are being touted as something that helps low-income women. The practice of webcam abortions has allowed Planned Parenthood to expand its abortion services and generate more revenue. While telehealth can help people in rural locales receive legitimate medical care, especially in emergency situations, abortion is an elective procedure, and these webcam abortions can put women in serious danger. Beyond that, it's sad I even have to stand here and say the phrase webcam abortions. This just further dehumanizes the act of killing. Just like our unconstitutional, illegal drone wars in other countries, where we end up striking down thousands of innocent women and children, these women don't even have to see a doctor in real life. All they have to do to kill their babies is talk to a screen. For Infowars Nightly News, I'm Melissa Melton.
Wow, that's quite a report. Even if you support abortion, I think you should be concerned about this dangerous practice of webcam abortions. That leads us to our quote of the day. 5 enemies of peace inhabit with us: avarice, ambition, envy, anger, and pride. If these were to be banished, we should infallibly enjoy perpetual peace. That's from Petrarch. Well, coming up right after the break, we've got that interview I've been talking about with Carl Mayer, who is leading the fight against the NDAA. Stay tuned.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the Infowars magazine. Plus, get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One high performance water filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants.
So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
Infowars magazine is more than just our answer to the internet kill switch. We're also going back to the roots of this country, when our founders, for a decade before 1776, known as the pamphleteers, with hundreds of little printing presses in every colony, got out the real news, the real information, and countered the system. This is tailored, designed with the truth to wake up your friends and family. This is the 21st century version of the pamphleteers. So get them at InfoWarsShop.com or InfoWarsStore.com. Sign up and buy them in bulk. Sign up and be a micro distributor for a full year to buy them in bulk and get one of the newsstands added, or sign up and get 12 issues delivered to your door, or give a gift subscription. Whatever you do, be part of the fight. And I want to salute and thank all of you that are subscribers and are getting the magazine in bulk, or who have ever come to InfoWarsStore.com and bought any of our products, because we are supported by patriots and liberty lovers like you. We couldn't do it without you.
Well, our next guest is someone who is actually doing something about tyranny. You know, it's been said that the way for tyrants to win is for good men to do nothing. Well, this is a man who is doing this pro bono. He is fighting the NDAA. We have the lead counsel, or actually the co-lead counsel for that, Carl Mayer. Carl, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be on your show.
Well, thank you, and it's an honor to be talking to somebody who's taking a stand against this. This is really important. Give us a quick update on the NDAA. And when I mean the NDAA, of course, we're talking about the National Defense Authorization Act, which is a big omnibus bill, but it's kind of become synonymous in the last little over a year with a very small section that was put in that could essentially overturn due process in this country.
Yeah, that's right. They call it the NDAA, or the National Defense Authorization Act. I mean, you could also call it the bill that allows the military to police our streets in America and to put people into military prisons without the right to trial or a counsel.
Yeah, and it's a bipartisan effort too. Unfortunately, it's almost unanimous.
That's right. It's a completely bipartisan effort. Just the way this effort on the drones is a bipartisan effort with very few dissenters. You know, Rand Paul being the exception. There are some dissenters on both wings of the political spectrum. But I don't regard this as a left or right issue. I regard this as a fundamentally American issue, an issue of fundamental liberty versus the deprivation of liberty. And that's why we pledge to fight as hard as we can to stop this. And and
let me expand on that before we get into the chronology a little bit of this. You know, it's just broke this week after we had arranged this interview with you. LA Times editorial came out on March the 8th with an editorial said, "Peril from, quote, patriots," unquote. And starts talking about people on the right, people who talk about the Second Amendment, that sort of thing, using a lot of the language and referring to the Southern Poverty Law Center and the way they've characterized things. And of course, the Southern Poverty Law Center has characterized Alex Jones and those of us here at Infowars as being right